Hey, good morning, beautiful people, and all of our amazing NASNPRO members. If you don't know, the National Aesthetic Spa Network is a organization that has been around for 17 years. It is a complimentary membership organization, which means you don't have to pay to become a member. What that means is you actually get to access resources, discounts, member rewards. So make certain that you become a NASNPRO member. If you're a licensed esthetician, a chiropractor, a medical director of a spa, a cosmetologist, nail technician, wellness provider, our organization is an organization that you're going to want to tap into and become a member. I am so excited that you are joining us today because we have Dr. Jackie Kilrain with us. And she is one of the educators that is going to be joining us for our masterclass in Atlanta. Now, I've had a couple questions regarding what's the difference between NASNPRO Masterclass and NASNPRO COA approved conferences. Well, since 2020, we've had to revamp, pivot, shift, do everything just like you as an owner, as a business owner. So we were looking at how do we get information and education to you. We've had some great virtual events, and that has provided amazing resources. And you can check those out because we've curated those segments on when we launched NASNPRO TV. So make certain you go to NASNPRO TV to get some of those education that we showcased in our virtual events. In January of 2021, we had our first of the year, and actually of the industry, the first conference, which was a little bit daunting because, we wanted to make certain that we adhered to CDC guidelines in state and city, along with where we were having the event, and we were able to successfully have a conference that was COA approved by NCEA. So shout out to Suzanne Warfield, the executive director of NCEA. She has made certain that our conferences have those COAs so that you can use them as continuing education, plus you get your certificate with that. The masterclass is a little different. It is going to be, again, a little bit smaller than our main conferences, but also means that you can ask questions. We're giving each speaker an hour to really dive into the topic that they will be presenting. Now, if you go to our COA approved conferences, you know that our speakers, we have a lot more speakers, we have a lot more vendors. So there's a shopping, there's networking, and it's just, very quick. Everything is very, very quick, and we run it very on a sharp time clock. This one was to provide entrepreneurs, business owners, estheticians the time to be able to really dissect, again, into what the presenter is speaking on, to ask questions, and again, to really get the best of the best, but have time with these speakers. So today I wanted you to meet Dr. Jackie Kilrain. She is from Georgia, has a practice. And what else do you do? Because there's some really interesting things that you've combined science and what some people may say is woo-woo with the art and the science of manifestation, and especially in dream time. So tell us a little bit about you and how did you stumble onto this topic?
Oh, thank you, Denicia. And I love woo-woo. I love finding the science of woo-woo. There's really a lot out there. So it's really fun. So yes, I'm a doctor of chiropractic by trade. I've been in practice for a very long time, over 3 decades. And I stumbled into what I do now because I take care of a lot of chronic pain. I take care of a lot of women in chronic pain, and just didn't seem to get better when we just did traditional chiropractic care. And we even expanded on all our work on the body. We would do just adjustments. We would do different therapies, massage, trigger point work, mapping out trigger points, just lots and lots of stuff, and it would help, but it really got to the root of the problem. And one night, late at night, I heard an anesthesiologist on a podcast say, we have to turn down the volume of the pain in the brain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. That was what I was missing, was I was treating from here down and I was looking through everybody's problem through my little telescopic lens of my training and not really including the brain. And once we started, and the very next day after I heard that, I walked into my office. I just flipped on open a periodical that was there, and there was an advertisement for neurofeedback. And I knew the doctor who owned the company, and I knew he was so thorough with his research. I called him up and said, hey, his name's Guy, Dr. Guy. I said, I need this. We got trained in it. We started doing it. And that was really my inroad to neurotechnology. So I'm kind of a big research geek, so I'm always reading research papers. And we've just expanded it from low-tech things like gratitude and journaling to really high-tech things like neurofeedback, neurostim, epigenetics. So we nice precision care when they get well. You know, to me, when someone says you just have to live with it or there's no cure for it, it really just means we don't know. Dig down and look really deep. But some of my favorite things are what you might consider the woo-woo, which is like just imagination, dreaming, using, I really think our body's designed just to heal itself. It doesn't really need lots of other things. Sometimes we need these neurotechnologies are really good for kind of getting the ball rolling and getting it unstuck and getting, moving forward. But after that, we're designed to be self-healing organisms. So we just have to figure out how to best make our body tick and let our body heal itself. And so that's what I like about the sleep art.
So to do a real quick recap, you have been a doctor of chiropractor for over 3 decades. So apparently you started when you were 9 because you look so young and good. And you were seeking. Now I do know a little bit of your backstory also. You're a mom. You have 2 sons or 3 sons?
3 boys.
3 boys. And you've had a little bit of a tragedy. We share this. We are both widows. So grief and that emotion. And I think that sometimes so many people don't realize how grief can really affect your body. You're mourning your loss of your loved one, and then how does it settle, and where is it settling, and how do you move past that? And so cracking bones is just not enough.
No, definitely not. And I think I didn't realize I needed what I do more than anybody. Because I was still looking at my neurotechnology through my pain patients, and I didn't have any back pain. I don't have any chronic pain, but anything I do in my office, I do on me first. And I got it about the year anniversary after my husband's death, and we'd been married for 25 years, but been together since I was 17. So really about over 30 years. And that year anniversary of his death, I fell apart. I was so anxious. I was so depressed. I felt discombobulated. I felt like I couldn't think anymore. I remember talking to my one of my employees, and she's my very, very dear friend, and the words like just come out of my mouth right. Like I couldn't even put it all together. Just looked at me, and we both knew I was fixing to run away from practice. I love my practice, but I was going to quit practice. My brother-in-law said, yeah, why don't you practice 1 more year and just move out to where your brother lives. Yeah, that'll work. 1 more year, and then I'm going to pack up my kids. One was in college. I'd leave him here, and then I had 2 that were in middle school at the time, and I'm going to move them all the way across the country. I'm in Georgia. I'll move them out to California where my brother lives in a monastery. I mean, it didn't even make any sense. It was like, that sounds like a good idea.
But you know what? I think a lot of us, sometimes when the troubles of the world and they start to just You know, it's almost like they get just, it encloses us and encompasses, so that this darkness, and I don't want to say like evil darkness, it's just, you know, whether it's sadness, grief, worry, anxiety, it all comes and there's a pressure and it causes a tunnel vision, but not in a good way. You know, so it's good to have focused vision.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, when we have blockages, and grief can not just mean a loss of a loved one, it could be a business. I know several people that have had, over the last 18 months, they've really had loss of a job, loss of, you know, closing down their business. So, I mean, when we talk about grief, it can mean a lot of different things, not just, it could be a pet. I mean, I think many people dismiss how important our fur babies are to us and the comfort they give us. So you and I share a colleague that we both know, and we've had her on NASNPRO TV, and she actually spoke in January at our event. And a hint for anyone that's in Arizona, you're gonna want to watch who's coming out. I'm not gonna say any more, but I'm trying to get Tasha to come out to Arizona to speak at the conference this fall. So hopefully, I think she did this to you. She threw you underneath the bus so that you would come on and speak. So I'm doing a shout out to Tasha. And when we were texting, you kind of hinted that you wanted to come out to Arizona. But Tasha talks about the science of manifestation and opening up the channels of dreaming bigger and having that provision. And what exactly does that mean? Because, you know, it's not always just money. You know, I mean, there isn't, we know that money is printed, but money isn't made in heaven. Money doesn't just grow on trees. It's a manifestation of a provision that is coming to you. And you actually had said something to her about you can actually manifest in your dream time when you're sleeping. And I'm like, whoa, wait, I think I did this in high school when, you know, I you know, when there was a big test and I would make on a tape all the answers and I would sleep with them, and then I still might fail that test or not get the A my parents were hoping for. Is that what you're talking about, or how does this work?
Well, pretty much. It's fairly simple. You know, I look at neurofeedback, looks at brainwaves. So there's different delta, theta, alpha, and beta, and they do different things. And I would have my chronic pain patients or anybody try to imagine their perfect day, because so many of my clients were traumatized, anxiety, depression, just chronic pain, and they're really stuck in that, so they couldn't imagine how to get out of it. So we would just have them write that, imagine it. And then the more of the science that I learned, we know that there are those two lower brain waves, delta and theta, are really active when you sleep. And theta brain waves, your short-term memory into long-term memory. So things that you just learned, you know, that to get it really seated into long-term memory and kind of be part of you and part of your brain and part of your memory, theta is more active when you sleep. So when we're trying to write it and trying to, you know, morning, like I'm going to get this, bring this into my life, I wasn't using the power of my own body. So I have people really imagine what they really want before they go to bed. So like 5 minutes before you go to bed, there's another brainwave called gamma, and gamma heightens all your senses. And I heard one researcher say it rides on the back of theta to every area in your brain. So you use the theta brain waves and you put the gamma on top of it by imagining the things that you really, really want to achieve or feel or have or be with all the senses that you can. So you're going to bring that gamma into it by saying, gosh, how would that really feel if I lived in this house? And what would the couch actually feel like that I'm sitting on it? What color, you know, so I'm using my sight would it look like on the wall, and what sounds would I hear? Would it be the waves of the ocean? Would it be the breeze in the mountains? So you just bring in all your senses before you go to bed, and then you kind of tuck yourself in and let that theta and gamma just carry it through all the areas of your brain, and your body doesn't know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what's actually happening. And there's lots of studies on that too that show your brain just starts to make these connections and pathways on your imagination, just like you've actually experienced it. So it's just a nice little way to not work so easy and relaxed. I love easy and relaxed too. So it's a nice, easy and relaxed way to use the innate intelligence of your body and your natural ability to help you achieve what you want.
And I just had an aha moment. So as a massage therapist and an esthetician, so many times my clients fall asleep. So if I kind of walk them through, I've done my analysis before I do my cleansing, all those pre-step moments, if I would just take a couple minutes to talk my client into a good thought, an imagination, kind of shifting that, either left brain to right brain or right brain to left brain and acting, then as they are relaxing, because our bodies, like you said, are such innate intelligence, that would actually help to provide a deeper experience and a more healthy facial massage for that. So my question to you is, when we're in Atlanta and we have you with all these masterminds, can we go through what that would look like? Can we actually practice as if? And we're going to save that for Atlanta, May 10th. So if you are in Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, wherever, we only have a couple more seats available, tickets available. Make certain that you register at NASNPRO.com, and you will have an hour to learn from Dr. Jackie and how we can take her steps. And it's not woo-woo science. She's actually going to give us the studies so that we can do our due diligence. I say, go beyond the Google due diligence. So many of us are now diplomas from Google, but you've actually gone to school, you have the doctorate, and you can teach us how to access manifestation and living the life of ease and dreams, and it's healthy for our body. I mean, we're actually doing something for our wellness and making certain that we're living a good, healthy life. So that's very important.
Yes, indeed. That sounds exciting. That sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to do that.
It's going to be great. Now, you also have a book. It's an ebook that we want to provide to anyone that's listening today and watching. We've actually showcased it's on Dr. Jackie Corain's website, and it's 5 steps to expressing Optima. And those 5 steps, she's going to explain, creating that pathway to living really an optimal life of wellness, of health, of provision, of, just what else, Jackie? Dr. Jackie, just
I think there's, definitely. There's so, we are innately meant to heal. Sometimes just give the first easiest step for you as an individual, the smallest thing that you can do that will get you the biggest result, and lots of different inroads to that, as far as imagination, sleep, nutrition, hydration, movement, so many ways. And you don't have to do it all at once. You can just start simple and just start. And that gets the ball in. Once you get the ball rolling, you get more energy and you get more excitement, and you just one thing leads to another, and you just kind of build on that. So lots to do.
Well, and I heard, and I love gratitude and journaling, and I think that's so important to do that, and especially because that's a really good way to end your evening and go before you go to sleep and activate that. But I heard something interesting. The more you complain, the more you will stay in that area. So if you're complaining about your job, you're going to get stuck in that job much longer. And if you're complaining about where you live, it's like your complaints are actually chaining you or bonding you to that negativity. So if we can take the complaints, reverse them into gratitude,
Yeah.
it's going to actually, you're giving the key to unlock the chains that are binding you to that, whatever that situation is.
Right, absolutely. Lots of science on the more grateful that you are, the more you will have to be grateful for. The more, even when something negative happens, you can still see the good in it. You still see the positive side of it. And the science of gratitude shows that people who are a real gratitude practice and a gratitude longer, they have less they die less of diabetes, heart disease, cancer. They're just much healthier. So it's much more than just, being happy, and although that's what it's all about, but you also live longer and a lot more healthier life just with a gratitude practice and a gratitude mindset.
Well,
and I started my gratitude journal the very first time when my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, because I had to have something to be grateful about. But it's a simple thing to do that can make huge impact on your life and your longevity.
Well, and I think for me, when my husband passed away, I didn't want to become bitter, because when I looked at older women, you have that, now you have the title of you're a widow or a widower. And in my mind, whenever I heard the word widow, she had deep wrinkles. She was hunchback. She was, older. And I just I'm in the skincare industry, and I'm like, I can't allow that. So, my first was, well, slap more creams and serums. And yes, taking care of the outer was important, but suddenly the internal made, I had to start practicing that gratitude. I had to make certain that that root of bitterness did not manifest into a whole oak tree where all I wanted to do was, kind of stab people when I saw them going, ee, ee, ee. So it is important to, and it's hard when you've lost somebody or your business or whatever is going on, not to become anger and bitter. And there is a season for that, because even in the Bible says, there's a time to mourn, but that mourning doesn't have to encompass the rest of your life. And, for business entrepreneurs, there's such, and just because you're a doctor, you are a business owner also, and there's ebbs and flows, and you had to close your business during the pandemic, and it's so easy to become very fearful of how are we going to pay our bills, how are we going to feed our kids, how are we just going to move forward. But all the steps that you're going to teach us in that Atlanta May 10th class are going to be there, so that we can take this as a foundational, platform, and then put it into practice, put it into our business, and really catapult into success.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're writing a lot. It's all up to you that we not just thrive this year, but that we survive, not just survive, but thrive. It's all on you.
Absolutely.
So no.
If not now, when, pressure. Right? I can't wait.
Well, you're going to love the people that our NASNPRO members are the absolute best in our industry. I mean, I can tell you, every time I go to one of our events, I sit back and I'm just like, they're such good people. They love their patients. They love their customers, their clients, and they truly want what's best for them. And anytime they go to our events, it's like a family gathering, and we may just be meeting for the first time, or, I have several members that come almost to every event that we've been doing for 17 years. And, again, we just have an amazing family. So I'm excited to be able to introduce you to them. And thank you so much for taking the time today out of your busy day to speak with us. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I know we have Patricia. Good morning. Great to see that you're listening today. But again, if there's any questions for Dr. Jackie or myself, we'd love to have you just type them in, and we'll make certain that she answers them, and or we'll get you that connection to her. Because I know that, if some of you may not be able to come to Atlanta May 10th, but you work with clients all over the United States. Isn't that correct?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
And
All
so,
over,
and
yeah.
again, I think it's amazing that as a chiropractor, because I know several chiropractors and they, not all, but several of them, they just believe in that bone cracking, you know, $40, crack, 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 and then they send you out. And it's only a Band-Aid approach. It helps, but it's not the whole
Yes,
package.
definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much, Dr. Jackie. And do you have any last words for any of our viewers today?
You know, I'm just so excited. I'm excited to be with you all on May 10th. And I call our program because it's just able to dive in and really help create the life that you want. And I, you know, this has been a rough time with all that's been going on, but it's actually the perfect time to reinvent and redo, and we try to help make it easier with all the science, that it's not complicated. It's really easy, and it makes it a lot of fun too. So I'm just excited to share that fun.
That's awesome. Well, I will see you May 10th in Atlanta. And for those that are watching, we appreciate that you've tuned in to NASNPRO TV, whether in our Facebook group, whether you're watching us on my personal page. We want you to have the best resources. So as a licensed esthetician, spa director, physician, because we do have a lot of doctors that are in our network, we are working with you. We're talking with you. We're in the trenches with you, you know, to provide the resources, the education that can really catapult you in 2021. So if you haven't joined the National Aesthetic Spa Network, please make certain you do. It is free, and there are a lot of resources. Everyone should be checking their emails to make certain that you are getting our e-blast, because we just launched a very exciting new member reward today with the International Aesthetic IAAHS, Linda Gullah. So make certain that she has some great programs. She's giving NASNPRO members a discount, again, to access and take their education, to elevate it. So there's a lot of things that we are doing for you to make certain that you are the best of the best. And if you need anything from me personally, private message me or email me at denise@nasnpro.com. We'd love to partner with you. Everyone today, remember, you are beautiful, you are a warrior, you are amazing, and we are going to get through 2021, not just surviving, but thriving.